Are you considering purchasing your first home amid rising interest rates? Higher rates may not be a bad thing if you plan to purchase your first home. Find out how. Hi everybody, this is Jose De La Rosa with SimplyEZTax, an accounting and tax practice with over 20 years experience servicing all U.S. states remotely. My brother and I started this practice to make taxes simply easy. Owning your first property is a prodigious achievement for you and your family. Instead of paying rent to build someone else's equity, build your equity by paying your mortgages and leverage it to accumulate wealth. We're coming off a period of all-time low interest rates paired with the highest housing valuation since the great financial crisis. To combat rising inflation, Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to bring demand down and reduce prices. As interest rates go up, borrowing becomes more expensive for businesses and individuals, so demand for goods and services lowers. The expectation is that when demand lowers, the price for goods and services will also come down. The downside to that is prices fall, but we have higher interest rates.
There was a New York Times article that was published today discussing the high mortgage rates. This article highlights that we have reached a point where people cannot afford a house, and that is true. We do see in this chart, and we actually provide a more expanded historical interest rates over 50 years, and we do see a jump quite sharply of the interest rates. It's important to note that this high interest rate is really to combat the inflation that has been created in large part by the pandemic and supply constraints, as well as commodity prices skyrocketing as a result of the war. One thing to note is home prices are reaching record levels. One thing to note is that over these past 40, 50 years, we also see the median sales price of houses that have been sold in the US has been growing. It almost doesn't stop, right? So how does this tie into a tax savings for individuals? Now, we will discuss the implications of your mortgage interest and taxes being deducted. If you bought a home in the past 2 years, you're actually at an advantage because you may have bought an overpriced asset in today's valuation, but you've also bought it at probably the cheapest rate that we will ever see in our lifetime. I think the really question is, what about those people that are looking to buy a home? Should they buy a home now? Should they wait? And from a tax perspective, what we are going to discuss is how to look at it from a tax savings perspective, in conjunction to the standard deductions that's allowable for taxpayers in the current tax code, which is set to expire in 2025.
The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates at a historic rate, unseen in 3 decades. In the following chart, we see historical mortgage rates over the last 51 years, with the highest rate being 18.63%, the lowest being 2.65%, and the average mortgage rate just around 7.7%. It is important to note that paying high interest rates can reduce your tax liability because you will be able to deduct your mortgage interest and property taxes. There is a $750,000 limit on the mortgage interest you can deduct for your first 2 homes, and $10,000 limit on taxes you paid, which include the property taxes. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is set to expire 2025, raised the standard deduction for Americans. This reduces the number of taxpayers having the need to itemize expenses, which include property taxes and mortgage interest. The standard deduction for 2022 is $12,950 for singles, $25,900 for married, and $19,400 for head of household. This means that your itemized expenses like health and dental, taxes, interest, and charitable contributions would need to exceed these deduction levels to create any meaningful tax savings for you and your family. To highlight the tax savings at different interest rates, we calculated the tax savings for your first year. We assumed a 30-year mortgage on the average sale price of $507,000, meaning an 80% mortgage loan. We maximize the tax deduction limit on the taxes you can deduct, $10,000, and we ignore any future valuation fluctuation in the housing market. Comparing the lowest, the current rate, and the average mortgage rates, we see that the higher interest rates on your mortgage provides the highest tax savings. As you consider the implications of your higher mortgage rates, there may be some short-term benefits that can offset paying higher interest rates that you can take advantage of. We're running a pre-tax season referral promotion. Refer your friends and family to us and receive 20% discount on all services for the upcoming tax season. This promotion ends November 15. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you at the next video. If you have any questions or thoughts or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us. We love to hear from you. Cheers. Bye.